Hi again. So I'm just going to do 12 things that I liked in 2018. That's sort of one for each month, and there are going to be 3 different categories. So I'm going to start with 4 books, and then do 4 makeup things, and then do 4 shows. Alright, so we're going to start with books. The first book that I read in 2019 was Saving Francesca by Melina Marchetta. I'm trying to see. Yeah, there we go. Saving Francesca. Melina Marchetta is a young adult author from Australia, and all of her novels, the ones that I've read, are just beautiful. Saving Francesca was really beautiful. It's about what all of Melina Marchetta's novels are about, which is people who love each other. Alright, so here's the blurb from the back of the book. Humorous, poignant, and impossible to put down, Saving Francesca is the story of a girl who must summon the strength to save her family, her social life, and, hardest of all, herself. So basically her mother is dealing with depression, really bad, can't get out of bed depression, and she has just started this new school that used to be an all-boys school, and now they added a women's bathroom to make it co-ed basically. So she's left her old school, doesn't know any of these people, has to make new friends and learn to get along with people who are different from her, and she falls in love with a boy. It's just, it's a young adult novel about school, and it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful book. So the next book I have is Sadie by Courtney Summers. A lot of people read this book, so you might have read this book. If you didn't, you really should. This is also a young adult novel, sort of a mystery thriller. So there's a plot that's about Sadie, who is looking to avenge her little sister's death. And then there's another plot that's the podcast about that. This book is amazing. Just from a craft perspective, the writing is incredible. There really are the 2 sections, so you are reading Sadie's narrative and you're reading the podcast. Podcast host is going and interviewing her family and all these people who she ran into on her, revenge road trip. And then meanwhile in her story, you're sort of seeing how things really happened, and it's just brutal. It is a book that you won't stop thinking about for days. Also, Courtney Summers is just one of the best writers. She is probably my very favorite writer who's writing today. She's so talented. So if you haven't read any of hers, this is a good one to start with. If you like this one, read all of her other ones. They're all so, so good. The next book I don't have because I read it as an ebook, but it's called The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. And it's basically about a group of high school, it's also a young adult novel, and it's about a group of high school girls who basically form a group to take on rape culture in their school and in general. It sort of starts, so there was this girl at the school last year who everyone sort of knows was gang raped by these 3 boys at the school. They're like the good boys, so no one really does anything about it. That girl is gone now. And so that's how it starts, is these girls want to sort of get vengeance for her, and then the group gets bigger and bigger and becomes about these bigger and bigger things. Other girls have stories like hers. Other girls have stories different from hers. There's this incredible scene where 25, 30 girls maybe from this high school come together and just start talking about sex and their bodies and what they know or don't know or have been told or are supposed to do or feel like they should do. And it's just a breathtaking scene. Just so many different perspectives, really well expressed. It's very respectful. It's just a really, really amazing book. It made me believe in the power of teenage girls. Now for something completely different. This is Still Life by Louise Penny. It is not a young adult novel. It is a murder mystery, my other very favorite kind of book. So these are by Louise Penny. There's a whole series of them called the Inspector Gamache series, or Gamache, excuse me. She's Canadian. So is Courtney Summers. So Amy Reed is the only American author in my best books. Sorry, America. But so Louise Penny is a Canadian author, and her mystery plots are great. But the thing that I really love about these books is the characters. So they all take place in this tiny town in Canada called 3 Pines. And so the characters recur, most of them, obviously not usually the ones who turn out to be murderers. The small town setting is so good. Inspector Gamache is just this warm, lovely man. I like him better than Poirot. And then he has this team who he works with who are so funny. And just the way that these books build on each other as a series goes on, the characters. And so their relationships change. I finished book 6, and these 2 characters have this exchange in that book who have essentially hated each other since book 1, and like if you were going to pick any 2 characters in these books to be in a room together to have a conversation, they're like the last 2, and it was just one of the most beautiful things I've ever read. And also, like I said, the murder mysteries are great because I do love a good mystery plot as well. So if you're into any of that, I highly recommend this series. Incidentally, this series last year made me fail at my goal of being a good library patron, because I bought this as a $1.99 ebook first. I read it as like a $1 ebook. And then I liked it, so I checked out the second one from my library because I am so bad at using the library, and I was like, I'm going to get better at it this year. I'm going to be a library person. But I loved the second book even more than the first book and decided I had to own the whole series. That's not very like decluttery of me, but it is what it is. Next, we're going to do makeup stuff. So I have a couple different categories represented here. Hopefully that's cool. The first is an eyeshadow. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. And I'll see if I can show you here. I don't want to like blind you with the mirror. So that's kind of what that looks like. It's all pinks. It's like pinks and berries. There's some golds in there too. Just really, really nice if you are a fair-skinned person with blue eyes. So recommended if that's the case. And also if you want to drop money on an Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. In full disclosure, this is not the first or second, etc. Urban Decay eyeshadow palette I own. I love them, and I buy most of their eyeshadow. I mean, I'm not proud. It is what it is. But this was my favorite one last year. Then I have a blush. This is the Laura Geller. Yeah, there we go. The Laura Geller Baked Blush and Brighten. This is in Pink Grapefruit, and in full disclosure, I only got this shade because they didn't have the one that I thought I wanted, but I'm so glad I did. Look at how pretty that is. Just like that pink and bronze kind of swirl. So this is great if you're not super into blush and highlighter as like separate entities and you're not really sure how that all is supposed to work together. This is so easy because you don't really have to know, because it kind of does both things. So you can really just use one brush and just kind of stick it up there, and it looks beautiful. Just like you don't have to try, and it looks beautiful. So love this. And I have a lip gloss. I have believed for years that I am not a lip gloss person because I've never found one that I liked at all. Then I discovered these. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss. This is Warm Bronze, and this is Parfait. And these two actually I both bought after the one that I fell in love with first, which I think is called Saint Tropez. That is a beautiful pink with just a little bit of shimmer. This one's more of a reddish bronzy color. This one, of course, is an orange. So these are just amazing. They last forever. They feel comfortable on my lips. They don't feel super sticky. They look like you're wearing lip product, which is what I don't like about most lip glosses, is like, why did you do it? Because no one can tell. So these are not like that at all. Do recommend if you are looking for a new lip gloss or you think that you aren't because you hate them. These are often buy one get one free on Ulta's website. I don't know why, but that's awesome. So if you ever want to try them, they're a little pricier, but not if they're buy one get one free. The last thing is an eyeliner, and this is the only thing I'm actually wearing today, so that wasn't very good planning, but what is planning? These are the Clinique Pretty Easy liquid eyelining pen. So I have them in black and brown. Those are the only colors they come in. I love having a brown liquid eyeliner. That's actually what I'm wearing today. Just for, I don't know, if you don't want like a big, I'm wearing eyeliner look, but you still want to be wearing eyeliner, brown is great, especially again, if you happen to have blue eyes. These really are pretty and easy. They have a marker tip, so it looks like that. Hopefully you can see that. Oh yeah, I've had this one a while and it's splitting, so I do have another one on deck ready to go because I love these that much, but I'm determined, like, this isn't out yet, so I'm gonna keep using it. I just have to be careful. But these are so good. They just look beautiful. They're so easy. I mean, you can really just draw a thin line from one end of your eyelid to the other, and it looks great. And then if you want to add more, you just add more. I mean, you really don't have to worry at all. And I'm not good at liquid eyeliners, so I really mean when I say these are easy, they really are easy, because I like can't do this with any other product. So last, I have 4 shows, and the first one is kind of cheating. It's Come From Away, which is a show, but it's a Broadway show. And I saw this, I went to New York with Kyle in August. We try to go to New York at least once a year because I love it. And 2 of my best friends lived there until very recently. Hi, Rachel. So part of it was to go see them, which is great. We are both big baseball fans. Topical. I love the Texas Rangers. I know. And he loves the Yankees. I know. So we tried to go to New York to see the Rangers play the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And while we're there, we see a show. And so this was our show this year. And it is just so beautiful. 2018 was a year of Canada stuff for me, I guess. So it's about this little island in Canada where all these planes grounded on 9/11 because they closed the airspace. But it's not a political show at all. It's just about how this tiny island suddenly had all these people there from all over the world who like couldn't get in touch with anyone, didn't know what was going on. They slowly, they started to hear what had happened. But, they didn't know they had families on those planes and they were on planes, and so people couldn't get in touch with them. And it's just about all these people suddenly on this tiny island that was not prepared to handle all of them, and how they sort of took care of each other and got to know each other. It's beautiful. It is definitely in the genre of things about people who love each other. Also, the music is super cool. If you happen to be able to go see a show and don't know what you want to see and might want to see this, give the first track a listen on Spotify. Try not to listen to all of it because it's just so much better if you go in not really knowing. But it'll give you an idea of what it sounds like, and it's just really cool. So good. Really, really loved Come From Away. I just realized that I probably look like just a neck and a head against nothing because I'm wearing black and the couch is black. So the next show is iZombie. All of it is currently on Netflix except for the final season, which is airing on the CW, I know, in May. I think it starts in May, maybe in April. So we kind of started this show because we needed a new show to try, and iZombie is created by Rob Thomas, who created Veronica Mars. It has a lot of that stuff in it. If you like Veronica Mars, it's got like the quips. The premise of the show is that there's this young woman. She is on her way to med school, or she's in med school, and then she gets bitten during the zombie apocalypse. What can you do? So she becomes a zombie. So to continue to have meaning in her life as a zombie who is going to be a doctor, she gets a job in the morgue so that she can eat the brains of dead people and not have to, be like a zombie. So when she eats people's brains, she takes on some of their memories and some of their personality. So it's a show where this one girl ends up playing tons and tons of characters kind of because she takes on these new personalities, and she can see some of their memories, so also she solves murders. So I love that. Just a really funny show, really great cast, just an excellent ensemble. It's not the most quality TV you're ever gonna watch. I think Kyle's review of it was that it's kind of bad in a lot of ways that don't really matter. It's just fun and sweet. Also, Jason Dohring is in it in the last season or 2, who is Logan from Veronica Mars. So there's that. And then there's Lost. I started watching Lost for the first time about a year ago in January of 2018. Thinking, because I like to sort of have knowledge of these cultural touchstones, because that's just, of course I do. I watched Twin Peaks, incidentally, for the same reason, and do not recommend. But if you missed Lost, I kind of do recommend watching Lost now. I think that show was ahead of its time in that it really needs to be binge watched. I mean, there are so many characters, and there's so much plot, and I genuinely can't imagine having watched this show 1 week at a time, especially in season 3 when there's things going on in 2 or 3 different places, and episodes can go by without you seeing your favorite character depending on who your favorite character is. And it's exhausting even watching 3 of them in a row. So I really didn't think I was going to be into Lost because I thought that it was an island mystery show. I mean, that's kind of how people talk about Lost, that it's crazy and so much stuff happens. And that is true. A lot of stuff happens. But basically, and know that basically no one would agree with me about this, but for me, Lost is a show about a group of people who needed to be with each other, who needed each other in their lives to become the best versions of themselves. And that's what Lost is about. Don't you let anyone tell you that it's about polar bears and magical islands. It is about those things. I just loved it. I loved the ending, and I think I'm one of approximately 5 people in America who loved the ending of Lost. So if you do watch it and you like the ending, please talk to me about it. It's a perfect ending for that show, and not a perfect ending for the show that I think a lot of people thought they were watching or really wanted to watch. This is how I talk about television. There's no stopping it. I'm so sorry. But I just loved it. I completely fell in love with it. Kyle got me all of the seasons on Blu-ray for my birthday last year, and we are watching them now. Anyway, so just love it, love it, love it. If you've never tried Lost because you kind of think that it's dumb and not for you, it's all on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, worth a shot. Worth a shot. I think there is something to love for everyone in Lost because there is so much to it. However, if you do not like it for the same reasons I do, yeah, you might be a person who hates the ending of Lost. The last show I think that everyone on the internet already knows about, but Schitt's Creek I started watching because it came to Netflix in 2018, and it is just so sweet. I mean, I haven't loved a half-hour sitcom like I love this half-hour sitcom since I watched Community. It's about this family who is very rich, and suddenly they are not. They lose everything, but they have, in the past, they bought this town called Schitt's Creek. They own this town, and it's like the only thing that they have left. And actually, they have forgotten that they bought it because it was a joke. And so they end up living in this motel in these two adjoining rooms, the mom and dad, and then the brother and sister. So that's mainly the plot of season 1, is them trying to adjust to life and you meeting all the characters in the town. And it's very funny, and it's warm. The more that they sort of adjust to living in the town and not being filthy rich anymore, the more the show becomes about, are you ready to be surprised by this? About them loving each other. This family, they don't really know each other. They've not spent much time together. They're not close. So now they're like stuck in this tiny town with nothing to do and no one to be with except for each other. And that becomes more what the show is about. And it's just so sweet. Watching this show makes me so happy. It just really hits you right here. Especially, there's this romance between David, the son, and, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, this is a tiny spoiler, but in the later seasons, a romance develops between David, the son, and this boy, Patrick, who I don't want to tell you anything about. I don't know how much I want to spoil it. The development of their relationship, no joke, is one of the most romantic things I have ever seen on television. And I'm a Jim and Pam girl. So, it's good. It's so sweet. Just everything about the show is so sweet. It's the very definition of a feel-good sitcom. But then also sometimes you're crying, which is just my very favorite kind of show. Seasons 1 through 4 of that are on Netflix now. Season 5 is currently airing. And if you have a cable login, you can watch it the night after it airs on pop.tv. And if you're in that situation, you should help me be in that situation. Because I'm dying. I so want to watch season 5 of this show. Alright, so those are my 12 things that I loved in 2018. Hopefully it was helpful maybe if you're looking for some new recommendations. Or maybe if I love something that you hate, at least you got some entertainment value out of that, because I think that's fun sometimes. Thanks again for watching another ramble. If I ramble again, come back and watch it too if you want. Bye!